Ladies and gentlemen, from New York City all the way across this country, things are changing. There's stuff that is happening. Los Angeles, things are happening there too. Things are not looking like they should be looking. We're in for a ride, folks. We need to be paying attention. From the great city of Chicago and right on down through, millions and millions and millions of people are going to be affected by what is coming and what is going to be taking place here in the short, near future. There's 329 million people in this country, all the way down to Miami. There's something that we all have in common. There's something we all need to be prepared for. There's something that we're going to discuss because you need to know. From all the big supermarket chains and all the big bulk stores that you can go to, from Costco's to BJ's, as you can see, they're all having problems. They're all having issues. They're all starting with limitations. Even Target, they're even doing it too. There's issues out here, folks. Whole Foods has the same problem. But what are we going to do? You know, Walmart. Yes, we always talk about Walmart, but it is the world's largest retailer in the United States. Kroger even is running into some of these issues also. So what can we do, folks? What is it we can do? We're all dealing with the food shortages, the lack of food, the bird flu that's going through. Even the frozen food sections are hit, and there's just nothing on the shelves. There's empty spaces everywhere. People are reporting this all over the internet. Even on my channel here, I get thousands of comments and emails about what is taking place. We don't want to go back to where we were in March of 2020. That was a very bad time. And Walgreens just made an announcement yesterday of what they're doing. Limitations on baby food, folks. That's right. Walgreens has put in place, starting now, limitations on how much of the baby formula that you can buy at their stores because they can't keep it in stock. They can't get it from the suppliers. This is an issue. We're all so used to seeing these signs and everything else. You know, we're sorry, you know, bear with us, all this different type of stuff. These limitation signs are popping up everywhere, and they're blaming the suppliers and everything else. You're being limited to two. Most places, there's a lot of things that are coming back, limitations. Pasta in a lot of stores and rice are just not being able to be found. In your eggs and your milk and your dairy and everything else. And this man right here has a huge plan for us, folks, and it's not pretty. It is a bad, bad situation, and I don't know what's going to happen here. And this guy here, well, he came out and he said to the American people, we are going to have food shortages, but there's no plan. So do you want to be like back in March of 2020 when this is what it looked like, people running into stores and grabbing everything and filling their carts full of toilet paper and water and whatever they can get their hands on? You don't want to be in this boat, folks. This is not going to be a pretty situation. And what happens if there's a war? The amount of waste in this country is unfathomable. This is just a horrific situation that we are dealing with right now. The U.S., just the U.S., wastes 108 billion pounds of food a year, which equates basically to 130 billion meals and over $408 billion a year. Maybe we should all start hitting up our local farm stands, your roadside stands. They're everywhere. They pop up all over the place, especially if you live in a rural area or any small towns. Support your local people. Support your local farmers and your local businesses. This is something that we really, really need to do. Hit your farmer markers up. those are going to be kicking up really good, really soon, folks. And if you can buy in bulk, well, that's probably the best way you're going to save the most money at this point, is buying whatever you can in bulk and then try to pack it away and store it properly. A lot of the farmers and stuff are all kicking up. They're getting ready. They're starting to plant their fields. They're turning up that dirt, folks, and they're just eager to get out there and plant. But the problem is what are we going to do with the lack of fertilizer this year? Is that going to affect a lot of these farmers? We don't know yet. We're going to have to wait and see. They're saying it's going to be a 40% reduction in the food production of this year. They'll be planting these seeds soon, and we're all going to find out what's going to happen. We have to have basically a perfect harvest this year, because if we don't, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. And I think that the trouble and the storm is brewing big time with everything that's taking place in this country and in this world. There's too much unrest, there's too much uncertainty of what is going to be taking place and what is going on. So it is crucial for our farmers to be able to get their plants and their seeds in the ground as soon as they can and have a bumper crop harvest this year. Not only will it help the farmer out, but it will also help us out in the long run. Probably the best thing that you probably could be doing right now is starting to plant your own seeds. Starting your seeds inside and getting them ready to plant in your own gardens. Everybody should start planting victory gardens. We should bring that back, folks, because that's what's going to save a lot of people. Learn how to do it now before it's too late. Get out there. You're going to have to get out there, get your hands dirty and everything else, but whatever you can plant in any place in your yard, that's food that you're going to have for you and your family. Get out there and start your gardens. Start up small little gardens, planter gardens, whatever it could be. The biggest thing is, I believe, is teaching your kids, no matter what age, on how to plant and take care of your garden. Because in the end, basically, this is the root that we are going to need in the future. These kids need to be able to plant these seeds and see and take care of how they grow. Teach them how to take care of the plants, how to water the plants, what it means when the leaves are starting to turn different colors. Did it get too much water? Does it need more nutrients? Whatever it is. And then in the end, you have food that you can go right out in your backyard and pick right out of the ground, fresh. You grew it, you know what's in there. And a lot of these different vegetables you can plant multiple times because they grow quite fast. Lettuce and radishes and so on and so forth. There's ways of doing this. Prices are going up and we don't want to go back to where we came from in March of 2020. Do you remember that, folks? That was a really, really bad situation. We don't want to be here. You don't want to be here. You need to pay attention. These food shortages are real, folks. And we are headed down a path. The government has already done this once during the Great Depression. They know how that system works, and I don't believe that they would hesitate to do it again. Prepare now. as we all sit back and we're enjoying a lot of these stores and stuff out here are starting to get really stocked up. Actually, they're getting really overstocked, aren't they, folks? I mean, the shortages seem to have gone away. The food shortages seem to be backing off, but maybe that is because a lot of the prices and stuff have gone so far up that a lot of people can't afford to buy extra, and a lot of people can't afford to prep. We have all been warning you about that. It's going to take place, and I believe it is happening as we speak. Now, a lot of these stores are also facing a huge surplus of goods that they're going to have to do something with really soon, because you see, folks, a lot of these goods are over a year old. A lot of these goods were bought and paid for last year, and they just never arrived. And they're just now arriving at, their destination. Finally are reaching the end point. Now, I did do a video last Sunday, and I was talking about something that I did talk to a manager at a Sam's and in the warehouse. I mean, there was a lot of comments and everything on that video, and I want to just clarify something real quick. I was not talking about all food products coming over on container ships. Yes, there are some food products that move through the system on containers, and they also come across from overseas. But what I was mostly talking about was a lot of the normal goods and services that we use on a daily basis that we buy at a lot of different retailers. I was not pushing Sam's Club. Now, also, let me just point out one thing here, folks. These videos are meant to bring information to you, to try to keep you informed about what is going on out there that you're not hearing about in the news. Let's just face it, folks. Ever since this past week, there's only been one thing on the TV and one thing only, and we all know what that is. I don't have to bring it up, and I will not bring it up on this particular video. What has really taken place is what we have to pay attention to is the major ports in China, US, and Europe are facing long delays once again. Okay? Off the port in Singapore, there are 344 vessels that are currently waiting to be either unloaded or to be reloaded so they can return to the ports that they have to go to. Now, their ports are between here in the United States, Europe, and over towards India, which they also have a lot of their ships do come straight directly to the United States, because once again, we cannot make anything here, so we have to import whatever it is that we want, right down to the socks and underwear that you all are wearing at this point in time. At least I'm assuming you're wearing those. And you also have to realize is a lot of these containers that they finally did get delivered were full of all types of goods, from clothes from coffee pots to bread machines, refrigerators, wash machines, dryers, dishwashers, computers, printers, TVs, camcorders, video equipment, stereos, all this kind of stuff has been sitting in these containers. Now, a lot of these retailers have already announced that they are going to be running a lot of huge sales, because this is old product, folks. It's just like if you go and you buy a brand new computer today, tomorrow it is considered obsolete. You get the point? That's the same with any type of electronics, any type of those type of goods. They're last year's goods. They're obsolete. There's all these new products that are going to be coming out. And those they got to get rid of, because they're sitting on millions and billions of dollars worth of inventory that aren't worth anything anymore. So they're going to have to take a cut and take a hit. A lot of the big retailers have already lowered their expectations on their profit margins for this next quarter because of this. Now, what does this mean for you? Maybe you're going to get some good deals and stuff, but I would be buyer beware, because you want to make sure that if you are purchasing all these electronics and stuff, make sure that there is a way that you can return them once you get them home and they do not work. Make sure that there is a way you can return and get your money back. because you might get a good deal, but you might get it home and it doesn't work. Let's just face it. Electronics don't like extreme cold, and they do not like extreme heat, in which they are getting sitting on these containers for the past year, wherever they have been. Whether it's been sitting on the ship, sitting out in the yard, sitting on the railroad, or sitting in a yard somewhere waiting for some truck to pick it up and continue it on down the road. So somewhere along the lines, a lot of this stuff has been setting. Eventually what's going to take place is a lot of these prices and stuff are going to be filtered back down to us, because let's just face it, folks, these people aren't going to take a huge loss. They're just going to pass the prices on to us. So if you do need something, if you do need to upgrade something, if you can still afford, I think a lot of the reason the food shortage has gone, away for now, is because a lot of people just can't afford to stock up and try to do anything to be prepared anymore. They've been priced right out of that subject. And it's something that I've been talking about for a very long time, that this would happen and take place. And I believe it has, because a lot of people can barely afford just to put basic food on the table. Working class people, and they can barely afford to put basic food on the table. There's a problem here, folks. I hope you all can see it. So what is also taking place is you're also supposed to be having like a million containers right now were due to travel from China to Europe by train. Well, because of all the sanctions, the war, and everything else that's going on over there in Russia and Ukraine and everything, they cannot take the train through there. So they're having to put all these goods onto container ships that are costing roughly right now about $130,000 a day to run, because they eat up so much diesel fuel. You see, there's a lot of things that run off diesel fuel that a lot of people just don't realize. And when you have something that big that carries that much, that's a lot of cash per day, and somebody's going to be paying the prices for all these extended prices that are going up on these container ships and moving all this product. You figure once it even gets to a port, then it has to be unloaded, put on a train. A train uses diesel fuel. Okay, the train's going to take the product so far, then it's going to be put on a truck that uses diesel fuel, and then he's going to bring it down, and he's going to deliver it to whoever ordered the products. So where are we at here, folks? We're at basically, it's kind of a slap in the face if you ask me, but, hey, this is just part of the new normal, folks. You've just got to be really prepared, and you have to stay focused, and hopefully maybe you can get some good deals coming up real soon, because this is what's coming down the pike. They're going to have to move all the old product for the new product that they're going to hope to get in, because they're running 74 days behind, and then it's got to get moved across the country. So if you really think about it, I'd say around 100 days before it actually hits its destination. So eventually we will probably run into having shortages once again on a lot of different products. Because you also have to realize is a lot of your canned goods, or anything that's in a can, we buy all our tin from China. Let that sink in for a few moments. So, I'm Survival Preparedness for Beginners. I hope everybody stays safe. You keep prepping. If you can, maybe look for some good deals if you need to do some upgrades in your home as far as any type of electronics, and clothes too. Maybe you may want to look at buying early school clothes, just for the fact you don't know what you're going to get come when school goes back in. I mean, school's just getting out now, but if they start running sales, maybe you can get some good deals and save some money. Because remember, by August, they're talking that the gas prices are going to be over $6 a gallon, and they're also saying that diesel fuel is going to be between $7.30 and $8 a gallon. And when that happens, a lot of trucks are going to be parked, a lot of trains will be parked, and a lot of the big shipping containers will just be floating around at sea because they'll be empty. Till until next time, I'll catch you all on the flip side.